Cyclone 11S has gained a name and is now Cyclone Freddy, and is now expected to become a very strong storm close to Darian's intensity, which was at a similar location. Freddy currently has winds of 60 miles per hour by DRHT analysis and a pressure of 992 millibars. It is moving south-southwest still, but slightly faster than this morning. It was 5 miles an hour this morning. Now it is moving in that direction at 7 miles per hour. So, over the course of the last 8 hours, Freddy has barely moved. Its location, when I made an update at 7 a.m. this morning, was 12 degrees south, 118.5 degrees east. It has moved 1 degree south and 0.2 degrees east since then. Here's our current forecast, where we expect in 2 days it will not be a Category 3 at peak. It will probably reach Category 4. We were looking at, it's ECM, whatever it is, ECMWF are calling for 130 miles an hour at peak intensity, and we were looking at that too. But Freddy has intensified significantly over the last 12 hours, not just 24 hours. It has intensified, not quite rapidly, but approaching rapidly. It's been significantly. At this time yesterday, it had winds of about 30 miles an hour, 35 mile an hour or more increase in 24 hours would warrant rapid intensification. But it is 30 miles an hour in the last 24 hours instead of 35, so it is not quite rapidly intensifying yet. Officially, it is at 50 miles an hour, so officially, it's only 20 miles an hour. But, again, we were looking at satellite, we were looking at forecasts, we were looking at what the intensification trend could be. This is probably at 60 miles an hour already. And I'm gonna say this, we're gonna be live tonight covering Cyclone Freddy on our DRHT live channel. I do not believe Daniel will be joining us. I think it will just be me. Ian might be joining us. I don't know about that yet. Ian might. But we will be live. Link in the description. And here's Freddy's wind field. As you can see, it's still very compact and very small. This is one of the smallest storms that I have ever seen. Excuse me. But this is one of the smallest storms that I have personally ever seen. Probably the smallest. You can see right now, it's only the size of about this island right here in Indonesia, which is, I don't know. But Freddy's wind field is a perfect circle right now of tropical storm force winds. Yeah, so we expect it to become a hurricane tonight, maybe into the morning. If it becomes a hurricane early tomorrow morning or really late tonight, like, around midnight, we won't be live then, because I'm still in school, but, and it's Monday, so, but yeah, so this has been a very long slide presentation, so we're gonna go ahead and move on. So here we are on the GFS. Ignore my dog barking in the background. Well, she just stopped. So, anyway. Rose, shut up! Anyway. But there's Freddy right there in the Indian Ocean. This is the entire Indian Ocean wide shot. So you have the North Indian Ocean, about half of the Australian region, and the North Indian Ocean, Southwest Indian Ocean. Anyway, whatever. But there's Darian. As you can see, right there on that image, they're going with 989. Right here, though, they're going with 993, which is not far from our estimate. We're going with 992. Yeah, so let's go ahead and watch this. As you can see, very quickly deepening very rapidly. This is just within the next 72 hours, so just within the next 3 days. Watch, it just jumps in the next 12 hours down from 989 to 977, and then just continues to just plow through the intensification. That was 956 millibars right there. Oh, that's not what I'm gonna do. I don't know why it will not let me extend the duration of this. I'm gonna refresh the tab and hope it works. It didn't work. Normally we would use pivotal weather, however you pronounce it, because that's a more accurate GFS. But it does not show this side of Australia, so you would not be able to see Freddy on it. If Freddy was on the other side of Australia, different story. But what I do want to say, in the South Pacific, there's going to be a big storm. It's an area of interest right now, I think with a 60%, maybe 70% chance of development. And it gets about as strong as Freddy right there, 965 millibars. That would be a Category 2, approaching Category 3. Okay, so I have next 78. And for that last frame right there, it deepens to 961. So let's take a look at Freddy. Okay. So durations of these are getting long. So I can see the next 84 hours. At the very end right there, that's 954 millibars. So that would be not the best news, because that is still a Category 3 cyclone. That is still a major cyclone. This storm will not affect land. It's going to take a more, I guess, Darian-like track. So, like, if you've watched our Cyclone Darian track video, then you're gonna know that's roughly about the path that Freddy's gonna take. I would say it's gonna track for quite as far or quite as long as Darian will. Darian tracked for 18 days, December 30th to December 13th to December 31st. So Darian tracked for 18 days, and to be honest, that was 18 days of misery and pain for me. Because it was not fun tracking Darian. I don't want to track another Darian. I think we released 7 storm updates. We had 1 live stream. And Darian just... When I got news that Cyclone Darian was weakening, I was so happy. And then it shot back up to Cat 5 in the South Indian Ocean, if you know what I'm talking about. It hit Cat 5 in the Australian region by our analysis. And then it started weakening, went all the way down to Cat 2, and then it shot up to Cat 5 again in like 6 hours. It went from a Cat 2 to a Cat 5 in 6 hours. And then it started weakening. And then Christmas morning, I wake up, it's a Category 1, so I'm happy. And at the end of the day, I check on it, it's a Category 4. So Darian just continued to defy the odds. And when I got news that Darian dissipated on the morning of New Year's, it was just pure happiness. I was done. I was done with Darian at that point, and I really don't want to do it again. I was done with Cyclone Darian. I was not prepared to track a storm that strong for that long. Not intent on the rhyming there. I was not expected to track a category. I was not. I guess you could say I was not prepared to track a 165 mile an hour Category 5 storm for 18 days. Especially through December, through over half of December. I was not prepared for that. I don't want to do it again. Because I'm telling you right now, if Freddy pulls a Darian and just shoots up to Cat 5 12 hours after becoming a Cat 2, I don't. But still, it is not rare to have storms at similar strength to Freddy at the peak intensity, so like Category 3, 4. It is not rare to have that around this time in the year down in the Southern Hemisphere. It happened a lot last year in 2022. There were multiple Category 4s in February last year. End of January into mid-February, Batsarai. Then a week later there was Amnati, and then there was Vernon, and then in early March you had Gumbe, that was almost a Category 4. And then you had Halima 2 weeks after Gumbe, that was a Category 4. But like, I just don't want to track another Cyclone Darian. Go watch the Cyclone Darian track video. That video, I know, the animations are way longer and take way longer to animate. Look, it took the Cyclone Chiniso video about 30 minutes to animate. It took the Cyclone Darian video 3 hours for me to animate. Darian tracked for that long. Because Darian, I'm gonna pull up Cyclone Darian's track real quick. quick. Cyclone Darian. Right. So you go. This may not look like far. Right here. This may not look like far. I'm gonna pull up the other map. I'm gonna pull up Cyclone Darian on the thing I mostly use to track storms. And you'll see just how far it tracked. Alright guys, this is the entire Australian region, most of the North Indian Ocean and the Southwest Indian Ocean all combined. You can see just how far it really tracked. But I was just pure relief when Cyclone Darian died. I don't want to do it again. I do not want to track Cyclone Darian. I do not want to track a Cyclone Darian again. Just... the first situation, like severe situation I had to track, like the first really severe storm I tracked was one that was similar to Darian. It did not last nearly as long. It was much more impactful to than Darian because it hit the Philippines. It was Typhoon Rai in December 2021. It was Typhoon Rai. That was the first storm I ever tracked and the first Category 5 I ever tracked. My first storm I ever tracked was Category 5. Even then, I didn't start tracking storms until halfway through Rai's lifetime. I started tracking Rai, I think, when it became a Category 2? Like, I heard about Typhoon Rai before I actually started tracking cyclones. Like, while I was tracking Cyclone Rai, I was like, okay, this was kind of... after Typhoon Rai, I was like, okay, it's kind of fun. I kind of want to keep doing this. And here we are today. Been tracking them for almost a year and a half. So, I have much more experience than I did back then. But this GFS section is already really long. I don't want to keep you here any longer, so let's just go ahead and look at the satellite imagery. This is what you saw in the background, the Spinning Storm logo. So cloud tops, I would warrant that this was probably 70 miles an hour. While I was at school, about the afternoon, about 12 or 1 p.m. I was in band class at 12 or 1 p.m. But I would say it probably got up to 65 or 70 miles an hour, and then right now it's looking much more disheveled, although there's that little area of lower cloud tops right there. When you're expecting a severe storm, that typically means that an eye is clearing out, especially when it's intensifying fairly quickly like Freddy has. But seeing that generally means that it is clearing out an eye. And that is not good news. Because that's just not good. Anyway, GFS section was long enough as me going on a rant about Cyclone Darian and some of my history of cyclone tracking. Anyway, like, subscribe, and goodbye. I don't know how long this section is. The video's probably like 10 minutes, though. I don't know. Anyway, like, subscribe, goodbye. That was not hateful. Like, subscribe, goodbye.